One of the questions that many teachers are faced with nowadays is how do we get students to want to learn? And when they're in the classroom, how do we keep them engaged? I believe that one way that a lot of teachers will be doing this in the future and are starting to do right now is they're using technology as a way to keep students engaged. So I just want to cover a few of the things that are out there right now that in the future could be used in a classroom, and ways that they could be used that would keep the student engagement and promote that student learning that all teachers want. So the first thing is the Microsoft Surface 2.0. This is a multi-touch, multi-user tablet. It's 40 inches. So way to use this in the classroom is multiple students could be working on this tablet at one time, and they could be creating something together. Create is on the top of Bloom's taxonomy, so anything that they would be creating on there is a higher level order of thinking. One thing that I was thinking particularly as a science teacher is to be doing dissections on this 40-inch screen. There are many virtual dissections out there that you can get from companies, and so just imagine dissecting a frog on this screen. Let's say your school doesn't have the money to buy a frog or a pig or anything to dissect, and so you could do it virtually on this Surface 2.0 and have it be 40 inches, and all the students could be doing different things on the frog at once because it is a multi-user, multi-touch screen. Another thing that is out there currently is the Leap Motion. So this would just be great. What it does is it turns any screen or computer into a touch screen. However, not just a touch screen, so you don't actually have to physically touch the screen. Your screen recognizes your fingers at a couple inches away, and this would be great for a classroom if you can imagine not having all the fingerprints on all the screens, especially if you're doing something in science that you may get some things on your fingers and your fingers may be dirty or wet. You don't actually have to touch the screen to scroll through maybe your lab instructions that you have on your tablet or computer. So what a great way to keep things clean, as well as just a new thing in technology that I'm sure the students would be interested in and would be a good thing for them to learn about. The third thing that I want to talk about is it was shown on the Fox News, and it was actually a newsroom where the people are using giant tablets. So we're talking about 55-inch touchscreen tablets that they're using. And they're keeping Fox News up to date constantly, so they're getting feed in immediately from their reporters, and they're taking it and putting it on the web. And so what a great way for students to, if they were to have these 55-inch tablets, multiple people could be using them at once, and they could be staying up with current news at such a great speed. And also, you could even use it as a teacher. It would be big enough that you could have it in front of the class, and you would have a touch screen up there that the students could see, and you could be touching things. Kind of like a smart board, but just one step up in my opinion. The last thing that I want to talk about is the DVE Immersion Room by Windows 8.1. So the DVE Immersion Room has taken technology to a whole new level. This is where we start talking about holographic images. So DVE Immersion Room is currently out for larger companies, and hopefully someday will eventually come out so we could use it in an educational setting. But some possible ways that we could use it in an educational setting would be collaboration with people around the world, and how realistic it would be. They would be a 3D image in the classroom. Not only 3D, but life size. It would be as if they were in the classroom. So if you want to talk about different biomes in ecology or something, have them in the biome, and they could be there talking to the students about the different things going on there, or the different things in that system. Also, just in presenting PowerPoints become 3D objects, and they're in the room. They're not just up on a flat screen. And so students are immersed in the material because it's physically in their classroom. Just to touch upon the collaboration again, it's not confined to a screen. which is so great, to have something that's not just a flat screen, but the students can actually be a part of. And so, great way to keep student engagement. So the DVE immersion room, it just blows my mind. I mean, there's so many applications that you could do. If you wanted to show anything related to science in 3D, you could bring it up and you would have the 3D image there. So DNA is often a hard thing to teach to students because we can only show them flat pictures. But with the DVE immersion, they could actually touch the DNA and spin it around and look at all the components as it's 3D, like right there in front of them. That could be anything, to talking about the solar system or parts of the body, anything. You could show them 3D image and it would be so much more real life to them and keep them engaged. There's one more thing that I want to talk about, and it's called A Day Made of Glass. So A Day Made of Glass basically is this emerging technology that everything is made of glass or flexible glass of some kind, and everything you can connect your technology to. So one great thing that they showed in their video was if you were to take students on a field trip, let's say in a forest, and you're learning about dinosaurs, you put up this shield of glass and you can actually have the dinosaurs look real behind that glass. And if you touch on a dinosaur, it can tell you what type of dinosaur it is, when it became extinct. So you let your mind run with the possibilities there. There are definitely thousands upon millions of different applications that you could use the Day Made of Glass in an educational setting. So I believe that as technology continues to grow and flourish and become popular, that teachers will be able to use it in their classroom as a way to keep students engaged and make students take control of their own learning and allow them to have that desire grow within them to want to learn using these different technology pieces. Those would be great ways to help the students do this.